For this episode of the Ungame, a podcast, please welcome a dear friend of mine. She's an exemplar of scholarly pursuit, an incredibly hard worker with never-ending tenacity, and most of all, a kind and genuine soul with a big old heart. Please welcome Sam. Okay, so we're being recorded.
Woo!
Yay! Okay, so can you introduce yourself for me?
All right. My name is Samantha J. Martin. I am Abby's good friend since about 2018, 2019.
Mhm.
I'm originally from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, but I currently live in Syracuse, New York.
Awesome. Well, so I don't know if you're familiar with my podcast, but it's called The Ungame, a podcast.
Oh, I didn't know that was the name.
Yes.
But I was just listening to the audio files you sent me.
Were you? But yeah, so that is are you familiar with The Ungame? I must ask.
Not super familiar, but
did you ever hear about it before me?
No.
Okay. I want to see if anybody knows. But yeah, so The Ungame is a really cool communication style game. It deals with 2 decks, deck number 1 and deck number 2. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today since we're not in person, we can't use the game board. So, deck number 1 is like your icebreaker questions, and then deck number 2 are more serious questions, but the whole point of the game is to get to know your friends and family and acquaintances better.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, we can go ahead and just get on started.
Good.
My first question, do you want deck 1 or deck 2?
Let's go with deck 1 just to start this out.
Sounds good. And I'm going to pick a random one. See where the universe wants us to be. So this question says, when do you feel happy and content?
When do I feel happy and content?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give several answers to that.
Sure.
So first of all, when I am just kind of saying goofy stuff to my friends, whether it's in your living room or back when I was in undergrad, like just sitting on campus and being able to just kind of look up at my friends and talk about whatever just popped into my head. Like just being able to share whatever is in my head at any given time with people and not feel like I'm going to get judged. That is something that brings me a lot of joy. And the other one, which is a little bit more solitary, I find myself in these moments when I'm just kind of, whether I'm sitting in a cafe or I'm just like sitting in my room, there's usually tea involved, not always, but usually. And I'm just like working on something that I'm really proud of, writing, at least writing wise. For context for the podcast people, I'm a writer and PhD student at Syracuse University studying political science. And because of that, I'm doing a lot of writing because that's what writers do. And whenever I'm finding my groove in a project, it's a different joy than being unjudged when speaking with people, not being judged when I'm speaking with people, but it's joy nonetheless. And those two things are very different. But I mean, also not really, because it is kind of just being able to let my mind flow and let my thoughts flow and not necessarily be caught up in trying to navigate social norms or trying to sort out what I'm supposed to be doing, supposed to being in quotation marks. I'm just kind of figuring things out for myself, and I don't necessarily have someone or something defining what things have to be. And yeah, I would say that's probably when I'm feeling most joyful.
Well, that's a great answer. That was a really good answer.
Thank you.
I mean, there are no good or bad answers in the Ungame. They're all equal, but I thought it was good.
I was going to say, what if there's a secret card that you pull and it's that says it's a bad answer and it's just random and I get pied or something?
That would be something, all right.
I just get pied from the 100 and so miles from Carlisle. I mean, not Carlisle, Shippensburg. Same
Oh my
different, same
gosh,
county. Um,
that's so funny.
Technically, legally, the same county. I think. I think you're.
Oh my
I
gosh, is
think
there
you're.
another Cumberland County?
Apparently, Shippensburg is like divided in half.
It is Cumberland and Franklin County.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if you were in the Franklin or the Cumberland
I'm
part.
Cumberland, baby.
Woo! All right.
I think 3 is going to be the magic number, if that works for you time wise.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds awesome. And since I'm more focused on you, so normally I would go, but I'm gonna let you go. So okay, let's pull another card. Do you want deck 1 or deck 2?
Let's do deck 2.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a really good one.
Ooh.
Name 2 people who have encouraged you sometime in your life.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with my first one being my high school history teacher,
Mhm.
who his name is Mr. Wagner. I'm not going to reveal his first and middle name, even though I know those, because I don't want to like accidentally give the bots something to chase after me
Right.
with. But Mr. Wagner, he was my history teacher for 4 years, which is a very long time to be someone's singular history teacher. I did technically also have other history teachers, but I still had him the whole time. It was just sometimes I had two. Not going to go into why that was, but when I was younger, I did these sort of history competitions where I would just present research that I did. And at the time, I wanted to be a journalist. And it was why I did these research projects, because it was kind of, when I was in like middle school, it was the closest thing I could really figure out to do that was like related to journalism. But I realized I was like super into the archival aspect of these history projects. I would be going to these like archives across the state and at like later times across the country to look at documents for these history projects, and I would create these narratives, and I would like analyze the lives of like different historical figures in order to kind of draw conclusions about history and how people interact with history. And I was decent at them. I was decent at these projects. It was a competition. I made it to the national competition twice out of my 5, I think, years of participating. I only won an award at the national competition the first time, but I did make it twice. And it exposed me to the history teacher at my high school, and who was Mr. Wagner. And even though it was kind of bizarre for me to be doing these sort of weird history projects, not exactly the first time, but I did make it twice. And it exposed me to the history teacher at my high school, and who was Mr. Wagner. And even though it was kind of bizarre for me to be doing these sort of weird history projects, not exactly like a middle school student normal hobby. I didn't have those. Big nerd then and now. But it exposed me to Mr. Wagner, and he saw something in me despite how weird it was for me to be throwing myself into these crazy archival projects year after year. And he encouraged me to start taking more social sciences classes. He encouraged me to enroll in Model UN, and I was a little bit confused because some of the things were not super connected, but I was like, he's in charge of the history department in our school district. I'm sure he has a good reason for this. And eventually he sits down with me and he's like, Sam, I think you should consider pursuing a research career as a political scientist. And I said, what's that? I've never heard that phrase. Do I have to do math? And he said, you do unfortunately have to do math. And I said, then I don't want to do it. And he said, no, hear me out. And he talked to me about like a career in political research. And he said, like, I definitely understand the pull of journalism for you, and if you still want to go that route, that's fine. but I think at least for undergrad, you should be pursuing a degree in political science. And you can become a like sort of political specialist, and they still often are part of journalism. And so I decided to pursue that. And I told him that, and for the rest of my time in high school, he kind of taught me a lot of research skills. He exposed me to a lot more political science related stuff. He helped me with some civic literacy initiatives that I did in high school because I was really passionate about that. And as a side note, he really was into the Civil War. Still is. He's still alive and teaching, and he's very into the Civil War. And so I decided to attend Gettysburg College. Not just because of that. There were other reasons, like they gave me a very good amount of money, but and they had a really good political science program, still do. And but I mean, that factored in, and I was really excited to tell him about it when I decided on Gettysburg, because I was like, yeah, Civil War. And even though I wasn't super into the Civil War, I knew he was, and that was exciting. And but yeah, no, he helped me with all of he not only like told me that he believed in my ability to succeed in the field, he helped me with these projects that helped me get there. And I'm really grateful for that, because I ended up deciding along the way that I wanted to lean more into the sort of academic research side of things, and I wanted to lean into this sort of archival study of things. And the skills that I learned through like taking his classes on research, on structuring like academic papers. Like I had a class on structuring academic papers when I was a junior, senior in high school, which has been so insanely useful to me because I am now in a PhD program in political science. And so having that sort of background has been really helpful. But no, he's been very helpful to me, very encouraging to me, and the fact that like he helped me make sure that I had all the skills that I needed. He didn't just say that he believed in me, he helped me make sure that I had all the skills that I needed. That was something that was really phenomenal to me.
To hear the rest of our conversation and to hear who else encourages Sam, please listen to part 2. Thank you for listening.